What is it that attracts women to certain guys? It is their edge. There is something almost uncivilized about them. Men that know how to attract women walk around with a sense of entitlement. All inspiring players, you need this. This edge, as we will call it, is something you only find in single men, or men that cheat. Married men tend to lack it. Why? Generally in a marriage, the woman has domesticated her man. It's understandable, and I'm sure it will happen to all us, at least to a certain degree. Think about it, most married men have children and many responsibilities. They lack the energy to object to the wife's demands or to ignore and tantrums. In other words, they are more docile and more appropriate than someone like myself. This is not good if your goal is to get girls in your bedroom. How does this translate to attracting women you meet in the streets? Inspiring players like yourself need to embrace the fact that their pickups require a sense of inappropriateness, disdain, and presumptuous that is in the air during all interaction. A personal story to drive home the point. A couple of years ago I spent about 11 months in a monogamous relationship. When it ended, my verbal game was way below par. It took a week or so of practice to get back to my normal self-assured demeanor. During that long week, I went to work one day and met a very cute lady who was about 9 years older than me. She had cougar potential written all over her. She was the granddaughter of an 89-year-old patient we had transported from one hospital to the next. As we arrived, her and I had a conversation. It was full of strong eye contact and I knew she was interested. Since I had been in a relationship for so long, I lacked the willingness to make the conversation inappropriate or presumptuous. This led to a very formal conversation. It took me about 5 minutes to realize what I was doing. We went from strong eye contact and looking each other up and down to a polite and civil conversation, all in about a minute. Once I realized this, I attempted to switch back to the potentially inappropriate conversation style, but I had a hard time. After all, I was docile because of my recent long-term relationship. Needless to say, the cougar and I went our separate ways. In retrospect, it was all worth it. It allowed me to realize the requirement of the willingness to allow a conversation to be inappropriate. If you want to say something to a girl but you are scared it will offend her or offend someone close by, then you lack the balls of a true player. There are 2 ways to overcome this. You must do both. 1 is just keep approaching women. As you increase the volume of women you approach, the shyness to be obscene will subside. The second way, which speeds up the process, is to consciously be obscene. Every day, for the next 7 days do this. At least once per day, pick out a woman you see and say something obscene to her. Then sit there and watch her reaction. Do not apologize, do not smile, just observe. This does not have to be a woman of interest, although it can be. I'll give a couple examples. I was in line at Subway one day on my lunch break and 2 Asian women were in front of me. One of the girls had her keys in her back pocket and they were about to fall out. I leaned over and said, "Hey, I was checking your ass out and noticed you are about to lose your keys." The faces of both women turned red and they simply could not believe what I said. Everyone in line turned and watched us talk after I said it. This eventually led to me dating one of the girls for a short time. It all started with a simply obscene comment. Do this once a day for 7 days and you will undocile yourself and become the man all women cannot help but desire.